All right, let's dive into one of the coolest things happening in digital ownership right now, dynamic NFTs. So if you've been thinking of NFTs as, just static digital pictures, you're going to want to stick around. We're about to see how this tech is making our digital stuff feel truly alive.
Seriously, just think about it for a second. What if your digital art could change its colors based on the weather outside your window? Or a sword you own in a game actually gets stronger and looks cooler the more you use it? What if your digital things weren't just static, but could actually reflect the real, changing world? Well, that's not sci-fi anymore. That's the whole idea behind dynamic NFTs, or DNFTs for short.
So here's the game plan. We're going to start with the basics, then peek behind the curtain at the tech making it all happen. After that, we'll check out some mind-blowing real-world examples. I'll even give you a quick rundown of how you could make one yourself, and then we'll wrap up by looking at what this all means for the future.
Okay, first things first. Let's really get to the heart of what makes a dynamic NFT so different from the NFTs we're all used to. Because this is a pretty fundamental shift in what a digital asset can even be.
So a dynamic NFT is basically a digital asset that can change. I mean, its look, its features, its metadata, literally all of it can transform. And these changes are triggered by things like real-world data or even by you interacting with it. It's not just about owning something anymore. It's about owning an experience that can grow and adapt right along with you. The best way to wrap your head around this is with a simple analogy. Think of a regular, static NFT like a printed photograph. It's beautiful, it captures a single moment perfectly, but it's frozen. It will never change. A dynamic NFT, on the other hand, is much more like a living thing. It can grow, it can react to its environment, it can evolve. That right there is the big difference. We're moving from a fixed object to something that's truly interactive and responsive. Okay, that all sounds amazing, right? But how does it actually work? I mean, how can a file on a blockchain possibly change based on something happening in the real world? It feels like magic, but it's not. So let's pull back the curtain and see the tech that makes it all possible.
At the very heart of every single DNFT, you've got a smart contract. You can just think of this as the brains of the whole operation. It's a piece of code that lives on the blockchain, and it holds all the rules. It says exactly how the NFT can change, what makes it change, and when those changes happen. And the best part? It's all completely transparent and impossible to tamper with.
So if the smart contract is the brain, then oracles are its senses. They are the essential bridge to the outside world. These services securely feed all kinds of external information. We're talking sports scores, stock prices, you name it, even weather data, directly to the smart contract. That data is what pulls the trigger and makes the NFT change. Without oracles, the DNFT would be stuck in its own little bubble, totally unable to react to anything.
And finally, there's the technical standard it's built on. Now, the original standard, ERC 721, is fantastic for those one-of-a-kind static items. But for DNFTs, the ERC 1155 standard is usually the way to go. Why? Simple. It's just way more flexible. It lets you manage multiple versions or states of an asset all within one contract, which is, well, perfect for something that's designed to change and evolve over time.
Okay, so the theory is super interesting, but where are people actually using this stuff? Let's get to the fun part and look at some of the incredible real-world applications that are already out there making waves.
Gaming is like the most obvious and perfect fit.
Just imagine your character's sword not only getting stronger as you beat bosses, but actually looking more epic, with new glowing effects. Or maybe a character skin that permanently changes to show off a super rare achievement you unlocked. This stuff creates a way deeper connection to your in-game items. They become a real visual record of everything you've accomplished.
In the world of art and collectibles, NFTs are basically creating living masterpieces. You could have a piece of digital art that shifts its mood and color palette with the seasons. Or a digital sports card where the player's stats update live during the game. And get this, your ticket to a concert could literally transform into a unique digital souvenir with the official set list and exclusive photos the very second the show ends. How cool is that?
And it goes way beyond that. Think about brand loyalty programs. Your NFT could level up and unlock better rewards the more you interact with the company. Or in logistics, a DNFT could track a package, updating its status and location at every single step of the supply chain. People are even exploring this for digital IDs, where your credentials could automatically update as you get new certifications or skills. The potential is huge.
So right now you might be thinking, okay, this sounds incredibly complicated to actually make, but it's becoming way more accessible than you'd think. Let's just quickly walk through a high-level 5-step guide to see how an idea can become a living, breathing digital asset. It all starts with the big idea. What's this thing gonna do? Then you build the smart contract, and you can either code it from scratch or, and this is key, use a much friendlier no-code platform. Step 3 is hooking it up to the real world with an oracle. Then, and this is super important, you test it like crazy on a test network before you finally, step 5, mint it and bring your creation to life on the blockchain. The big news here is that tools are making it so you don't have to be a hardcore developer to do this anymore.
Wow, we have covered a ton of ground, huh? From the basic idea to the tech and all the cool ways it's being used. So as we start to wrap this up, let's just boil it all down to the most important things you need to know and think about what's coming next.
All right, so what are the big takeaways here? First, DNFTs are living assets. They're not static. They're powered by that magic trio: smart contracts for the rules, oracles for the real-world data, and flexible standards to hold it all together. We're already seeing them create these incredible, engaging experiences in gaming and art. And, really importantly, while making sure your data is secure is absolutely critical, the tools to build them are opening up for everyone, not just coders. This is a real building block for a more interactive internet.
And that really just leaves us with one last huge question to think about. We've gone past just owning a static picture. We can now create digital experiences that live and breathe and evolve with us. So if pretty much any digital asset can be brought to life, the only real limit is our own imagination. So, what are we going to create next? Thanks for joining me on this explainer.